got the work clamp back on the planer bed, so we're ready to give it a try now. Tool hasn't been adjusted, moved or anything, it's still in the same position that it was. So what we'll do, we'll give it a try, Okay, here we go. Make sure we take the slack out of that. There you are, starting to peel the chip off there, yep. That's probably where we left off there. Yeah, look, it's peeling the chip off. It's slipping a little bit on the belt there. I made some adjustments to this belt here. I've shortened it by about 5/8 of an inch. Of course, every time you want to tension the belt, you have to take a little piece out, put a new fastener in. It's just the nature of the game. There's no means of adjusting that, the shaft or anything like that, or the machine. But anyway, let's just have a look at what this is doing now. It seems to be cutting well now, though. There you go. It's peeling that chip off rather nice. Let's have a closer look at that tool working. There you go. Let's get our dial test indicator set up on the bridge and let's see how much it's feeding across. Now that we know that the feed mechanism is working correctly, don't forget we've got two brand new leather discs in that drive unit there, that clutch unit. It's not back feeding either like it was before when we first started running it. So we'll just have a look to see what, and in fact we're going to have a check to see how many teeth it's jumping over when it returns. 3. So that's 3. So whatever this traversing, when we put the dial test indicator on, we'll divide it by 3 and we know how many one tooth will traverse the tool. I'm going to get that set up now. Alright, we've got the dial test indicator set up. I think you might be able to just see that. It's actually set it about 1 thou now on there, just over the 0. There you go, it's gone about 5. So 3 teeth on the ratchet is about 5/1000ths of an inch. Let's just check that again when it comes to the end of this stroke. We're on about 10 now. So there you go. It's about 5, yeah, it's feeding about 5/1000ths. And it's peeling a beautiful chip off, you can see that there, look. We haven't got any slippage or anything of that nature. Alright, still working okay now. I'm quite pleased with the way it's performing. You can see it's peeling a decent chip off. No sign of any slippage with the belt. That's nice, that is. Alright, we're ready to put a cut on now for the second pass going backwards. And I thought what I'd do is I'd put a dial test indicator on here and just check to see how much we're actually rotating. We're going to take another 30,000ths pass, or half a rotation of the screw. Don't forget it's 16 TPI, it's 3/8 UNC, so 16 threads per inch. And our little nut at the back, I don't know if you can just see it, I'll just move the camera around here. Can you see it at the back there? Seems to be working quite well. I will take that component off there, the slide, and spot face that. Now that it seems to be working okay. I've zeroed the DTI out. You can see that, can't you? Yep. I'll back the nut off, and it'll be interesting to see if anything moves when I back that nut off. So we've got our special spanner that we bought, and we modified it. This goes over the thread. Hang on, it's loose now. Okay, just put that down. It hasn't moved, look, it's still on 0. So now, let's turn it 1/2 for a turn. Okay, you can see that? That's 10, 20, 30 thousandths. I'm going to tighten that up and we'll see if anything moves when we tighten it. As we span it on, there it is. Span it back then. So nothing's moved, has it? So it's still pretty much the same. So yeah, we've got a 30 thousandths cut on there. And if we wanted any accuracy, we could use the dial test indicator to set the distance travelled on the tool slide. But it would be interesting to see now. I feel quite happy with that. 30,000 should be okay. We know for definite that it's 30,000. It's not overrunning or anything like that. So we'll get this DTI taken out the way, and we'll get on with this next cut, and then we'll see if we need to do a finishing tool. There we are, it's away again now. Just starting a cut. So put a cut on now. This end, that's it. Still three teeth on the ratchet wheel. So it's still cutting away there. Doing a nice job actually. I'm looking about finished tool for a roughing tool. I quite like these tools, these swan neck tools. They look right on the machine. You know, to say if something looks right, chances are it is right. Well, those swan neck tools are designed principally for planers and shapers, not for lathes or anything like that, but for shapers and planers. That's probably why it's doing such a good job. The disadvantage with the swan neck tool is you need more height between the work and the tool post because you've got the swan neck shape. If you're using a conventional lathe tool on there, it means that the cutting edge is higher up, so if you were stuck for space on your bed and you had a tall job, you could probably put a conventional lathe tool in. It may not give you as good a finish as what you would get with this, or good performance, but it would certainly do the job for you. Many shapers and planers have been used out there which just operate with ordinary lathe tools, and they do an excellent job. If you ever have the opportunity to use the correct tools though, always use them. Just try them out, see what you find. Alright, it's nearly finished now, it's not far to go. I think what I'm going to do after this, I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to take a few passes off the other side to clean it up. I think it'll take a bit more cleaning up on the other side because there's a definite bow in the face. Obviously it hasn't been flame cut too accurate. And flame cutting isn't accurate anyway, so it can only be expected. But yeah, once we finish this, we'll clean everything up, turn it over, and we'll start on the fourth face. Alright, we put the bar back in on the table, clamped it all down, it's nice and tight. You see that's the last flame cut surface. So the tool is still set where it was originally on that last pass. We haven't altered that. So it should touch 2 points, because it was bowed, if you remember that we saw a while ago. It's actually a bow underneath. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to put another half a turn on, and we'll see how it goes with that. Oh, there we are, it's away again now. It's just touching just on this end here. It might be just touching on that back end as well, but it's just touching here. There's a long way to go. It's still going. Probably 3/4 of the way across now, it's not far off. See it there. Well, that's the first pass finished. Just about, just touching this end here, just touching a little bit. Oh, that's it done now. Right, I'll put another cut on and we'll send it back. Alright, this is the third pass now. I've put, I reckon, about 40,000s on, something like that. And it should be 3 balls on the, well, 3 teeth on the ratchet wheel, which is 5 to 6,000. You can see it's peeling that chip off quite nicely. So we're probably around about 105,000 total depth so far. It'll be interesting to see if it actually cleans it up at this cut depth. Alright, this is the fourth pass now. Looks like the tool's not quite cutting on full depth yet, but hopefully it should clean it up this time. If it doesn't take another pass off. I've put about another 40,000 cut on. She's taking it okay so far. So I guess so far we've put on about 145, maybe 150,000. Looks like it might get underneath that flame cut mark there. Yeah, we should do this time. We'll see. That's cutting well at the moment. Yeah, cutting very well. Well, there we are. I think we've finished with the roughing tool now. It seems to have cleaned all that up. Might put the finishing tool on. Let's see what kind of a finish we can get on that surface. Just that one surface there. That's be alright, that tool is. But if we put a finishing tool on, we can take maybe 2,000 or 3,000 off with a bit of luck. And that will be sufficient to get a decent finish. That looks pretty good though. That's just clearing the burr off the edge, that is now. See that raggy burr on the end. Alright. I think I'll just shut that down. There are silence reigns. Alright. That's been quite a project so far. Right, I think we'll get that tool out. I'm going to get the finishing tool in. I'll make an adjustment to the feed. We'll touch off and we'll get going. Okay, we've got the finishing tool in now. It's just starting to take a cut. And we'll see what this is like. It's on a little bit slower speed now. I might speed it up a little bit. It's fast on this, it's still slow. It's not a fast machine, the shaper isn't. Starting to cut. Now it's working its way across there. It's hardly touching in some places, in other places it's cutting a little bit more. That's it, because obviously it isn't true yet. So we'll probably need to take another pass, but what I may well do after this is I may clean the surface up and turn this to a 180 and do the other side, the other edge. We didn't do that one with the finishing tool, so I think I might do that. Just to make sure everything's true. And then we'll do some dimensional checks and just see what it's like. This is going alright so far. I say we'll do another pass and hopefully it'll cover the whole area then. And you can see where it is cut and it's quite smooth. We're taking our final pass now. Hopefully this should clean it up nice and leave a good finish. Nearly through, probably about 2/3 of the way. And if you look at the work, you can see that typical planar finish with the lines. Hopefully you can see that. I'll try and move to a better position. You see that? A really nice finish there. Beautiful. It's nearly finished now. You can see we've got that lined finish on the work here, typical of a planer or a shaper. That's very nice. I think this is slightly far off, right on the edge. I was just shifting the burn out. When you see a tool taking a little bit, and maybe a bit more than the next cut or whatever, and sometimes it'll take a big cut. What's happening is it's taking all the slack up in the system. So when it takes all the slack, all the play up in your mechanism, in the tool head, there comes a point when there's no more give. So it has to take a cut, and the cut's usually big. Just like now, can you see that? It's taking all the slack up. I'm not worried about that. Alright. One last time and then that's it. Alright, that's it. There we go. I'll shut it down for today. Alright, it's a couple of days later now. I've just cleaned the planer bed off and I've turned the bar over. You can see that was the third face that we did, and we didn't put the finishing tool on that, but I decided I will do. Then that means that all four sides have had the finishing tool on it. So we're going to get this going, and I'm going to set the tool. In fact, it should be, it's still set where it was in the last cut, so it should just touch over that there. But we'll see how it goes. I'll get it rigged up and set up, and then I'll bring you back. Alright, there it is, it's off on its merry way. And you can see it's just taking a cut, just starting at this end here. That bar is not quite straight, and it's not a problem. But I don't think it's quite parallel as well, because it's truing it up. There you are. We'll just let it cut all the way across here, and then we'll take another one. Alright, it's nearly finished now. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to start it up, and let's take the next pass. Okay. And let's just move the tool over. And I want to feed that way, sorry. Should see that now. Let's just add the tool across. And I'll put some oil on as well. Alright, it's about a third of the way across now. Seems to be peeling quite a nice chip off. So remember, the middle of that bar was bowed. It was quite bowed like that. A lot of surface tension in the material where it's been flame put, and then when we've machined the surfaces as well, what will happen is your piece of bar will bend and deform. So sometimes what you might have to do, if this isn't parallel for example, we might have flipped that back over, take another pass, and you just keep flipping it from one side to the other until you get it parallel. But you've got to be careful, because you have to think about what your finished size is going to be. For us it's not a problem, we're not machining it to any fixed size yet. If we were, then we would be considering as to when we would flip it over and how many times we would do that to hit the tolerance and be parallel. Alright, something very interesting I've just discovered. Failed to do something really, really important, and you'll see just in a second. It's not cutting anymore. It was cutting more on this end. It's not cutting there now. What I forgot to do was to tighten that nut on that stud. Hold everything down. So it was taking more off here than what it should have done. So what we're going to do is we're going to take another pass until that closes, or until that starts cutting all the way across. So that's my error there. And it's important to remember, when you're doing any fixtures or anything like that, make sure everything is correctly tightened down. It'll cause all kinds of problems. See, it's cutting, and it just runs out. Because this was a little bit high, we've tightened it down and it's pulled everything down. Alright, it's nearly all the way across now. I'll put another 2 to 3 thousandths cut on, and we'll pass it back the other way, and we'll see if it cleans it up. We're probably about 3/4 of the way across there. Just about touching in places now. We'll definitely be taking another pass. Yeah, definitely another pass. Well, you can see it's not touching now. It's finished. So we'll stop this. We'll set the DTI up, and we'll put another 3 thou cut on. Alright, it's cutting again now. See it start to peel the chip off. It's looking a bit more promising now. pulling a chip off again. It's not far off. Let's see how this goes. Probably need another pass after this one. Yeah, that should cover everything, or the whole surface of the work. Let's just watch it again. Alright, we're at the end now. It's covered the whole area of the work. So we're going to stop there now. I'm going to clean everything down. I'm going to measure I'll take the burrs off and measure the bar. See how parallel and square it is. And then of course what we're going to do then is we're going to think about machining the ends. And what sort of options are open to us. I've got my idea as to how I want to do it. There's three obvious ones, three options to choose from. We've got that machine there, which is very capable of doing it. We've got that machine there. And of course we've got those hand tools down there, files. We've got some hacksaws hanging up over there. So we could do the old method by hand. We could use the shaper, or we can use the universal milling machine. But either way, I think we've finished on the planer now for the time being. I'll take it out and I'll clean everything up. Alright, thanks for watching.